Hi Gemini, welcome to the channel. Welcome to your Taurus season horoscope reading. I'm glad that you're here. Welcome back. If you are already subscribed, please like and share. And if you haven't subscribed and it's your first time here, huge welcome to you. And please subscribe, like, and share. I would be very grateful. I have the chart up here for the energies at play for Gemini rising for the Taurus season, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first, I wanted to let you know that my website is up and running. You can reach me there through the contact section at jovesstar.com. That's JOVESSTAR.com. If you'd like to book a reading, you can contact me through there. Of course, you can always contact me in my email address, which is down below, GeminiFire65@msn.com. And if you head over to the website, you can learn a little bit more about me personally, why I got into astrology, what my intent is for working with astrology, and all that good stuff. And if there's something on there or if there's not anything on there that you'd like to know, just shoot me a message. I'll be happy to chat back and forth with you. Okay, so let's get right into the reading. I am going to make the chart a little bit bigger because it's easier for my eyes to see. So there we have it. All right, so we have the sun over here in Taurus, just coming into Taurus. And Taurus is all about our security. So this is a good month to focus on your security and your resources. Taurus is very practical and simple. It enjoys the simple pleasures of life, the things that affect the body and the earth. That's what Taurus season is all about. Obviously, it's an earth sign. So for Gemini rising, the sun is in the 12th house. So this is really focusing and having a predisposition in your mind, hauntingly, about how to simplify your life, focusing on your home and your resources, your finances, your family, everything that you value. So this has moved into your 12th house, so it's drumming up all of that subconscious memory there, or worries and fears that you may have from the past that you're trying to change and materialize and simplify. So that is the focus for Gemini rising here in the month of Taurus. We have a lot of Pisces energy here still at play, which I'll go over as well. We have Saturn here in Aquarius, and we have Pluto up here in Capricorn. And I will go over these energies. They are very much at play this month. So we can talk about how these energies might be affecting you. So in addition, we'll go back here to Taurus. In addition to having Taurus, or the sun in Taurus, we also have Uranus in Taurus, which guarantees that we'll experience some kind of change in the 12th house. It could be an epiphany or some kind of awakening, definitely spiritual awakening. Could also be prompting some kind of a sudden ending or elevation of something that is much more ethereal. So really could be sharpening up your psychic sensitivities and your dreams. Mercury is there as well, which is all about the mind. Mercury in Taurus is about the practical mind. So again, in your subconscious or behind the scenes, if you're trying to balance out any issues that are affecting your home life, your security, your finances, Those are things that are rolling around in your head, and Mercury in Taurus in the 12th house is really helping you focus on how to address those issues, and Uranus could be giving you insights. That would be perfect expression of Uranus and Taurus in the 12th house, but it could be causing some anxiety for you if you're trying to double back and lean out and figure out really, really and truly what you need and what's important to you. And that is a theme for all of us right now, but for Gemini rising, it really is stuck in your subconscious, and just is sort of permeating your being. The 12th house is the house that is ruled by Pisces and Neptune, so it dissolves boundaries, and it's just something that flows in through us and out us, and we really just can't seem to compartmentalize that anywhere, which Gemini is usually really good at doing, but not so much with this. All right, so that's the 12th house, an awful lot going on there for you in the 12th house. And let's break down the rest of these energies, starting with Pluto. So, we know that Pluto is determined to change things. It's either going to change it, it's going to disrupt it and change it, it's going to take it away so that it's sort of an experience of a death of sorts, or it's going to come out after being destroyed and rebirth into something that is much more practical and responsible. And Pluto there in Capricorn, in the later degrees of Capricorn, which reflects our mind, that is going to really, really be wanting us. Pluto is really forcing us to get down and look at the details of what we have accomplished in our life. What do we stand for? What is our structure all about? Thinking about it, trying to organize it, put it together. For Gemini rising, that is in the 8th house of shared resources. So it can be debts. It's in the 8th house of intimate relationships, so really, really picking apart relationships and marriages, or any significant partnership where there's a contract or money involved. So that's why I mentioned debts. It could be, creditors. Also, the 8th house is the house of karma. So Pluto is in there bringing things back and wanting us to really take stock and inventory of what our actions have been in that 8th house, which most of the time we keep hidden behind the veil. We don't want to talk about. It can be a lot of fears. That can be the house that we go to and really, really get stuck in secrets and fears, and have to push ourselves to actually reach out. And this is the house that if something is really sticky in there, would be beneficial for us to actually seek therapy, for instance, because Pluto, although it moves very slowly, it is going to make its transit, and when it's finished, there is going to be a significant change. So what we've done during that time period is going to be very significant, especially now in the later degrees of Capricorn. And as you can see, it is squaring right now, and it will actually square the sun in Taurus up until right around the beginning of the month. I don't have the exact date, but it's going to be right around there. And we've had this square tension between Pluto and the sun for a little while now, even when the sun was in Aries. Of course, Aries, a little bit more aggressive, and we could have witnessed and experienced and seen things in the world that were of a more aggressive type nature. The sun is what we want. It's our soul. It's our drive. It's also our ego. And squaring Pluto, that is really pushing and putting pressure, again, in these late degrees of Capricorn, to change things up, destroy them, change them, or get rid of them. That can cause a lot of tension, and Pluto has a very obsessive, powerful way of grinding away and continuing its work until it's done. So if that is affecting and squaring, you know, our ego, our wants, really what it is that we want to do, and we're in a place where Pluto is saying, well, this is what you have to do. It has to transform into this. Pluto is about evolution, the evolution of our soul. It's about karma. It's about what is the process that we as human beings are destined to experience. And of course, we participate in putting the pieces together in our lives that we will have to deal with when Pluto comes through and says, okay, now we have to get moving and get rolling because it's go time. Things are going to change. So there's a lot of pressure there. And the sun, again, like I mentioned, in Taurus is bringing us down into what can we simplify in our lives? What is really important? What do we really need in terms of our housing and our food? You know, what is it that we really love and value? The basics. Pluto is asking us with this square to change our value system around 8th house, things like shared resources, things like how we process and keep information in our mind. And so this is kind of a very big deal. This is the type of square that can cause so much emotional pressure that we can actually get to a point where we're so frustrated, things can sort of blow up for us, and we might find ourselves lost or even angry or aggressive. More so when the sun is in Aries, having a conversation with Pluto, but really right now pushing us to think about and move towards changing our environment. What is important to us? So if we're experiencing shortage or we're experiencing financial issues, this can feel really, really overwhelming. So good idea to reach out to an expert, somebody that you can trust, and, you know, ask for help if something is going on there that just seems to be out of your control. Okay, so we have Saturn here in Aquarius in your 9th house of your higher mind, what your beliefs and your truths are, how you learn things, what your philosophies are. In Aquarius, it's about social responsibility. Saturn is all about responsibility and lessons. And in Aquarius, it's like, well, what do we stand for? What do we want to learn, or have we been learning as Saturn has been making its transit through Aquarius? That actually brings us back into ourselves, allows us to maintain our individual sovereignty while at the same time maintaining social responsibility. Saturn is sitting in a late degree of Aquarius. So again, it's the push to finish the lessons that we've all been learning for Gemini rising, our 9th house, but in Aquarius for everybody. And so that is putting us in a place where now it's time to take everything that we've learned, decide what we stand for, and balance that out between the relationship with ourselves and the relationship with the community, our relationship socially, our responsibilities to everybody around us, just the human race in general. And have we been working towards learning what we needed to learn and being responsible towards the community? What is it that we can give back now? We've taken in all of this information. We've made a stand. We've come to our own conclusions. And now, how can we balance it out and take a little bit of that from ourselves and give back? Saturn is requiring that we balance out the lessons that we have needed to learn, and to balance out what we feel is true for ourselves, how we see ourselves fitting in to the human race. What can we do to help humanity move forward? What can we do to move ourselves and everybody else into the future? There's technology. There's learning about things that you never thought that you would be interested in or wanting to learn about years and years ago. Many of us are in these situations, and it's a crunch time at this point. So Saturn, it's going to impose its lessons. It's going to make sure that we understand that we have a responsibility before it completes its transit. And Saturn is squaring the nodes that are transiting in Taurus and Scorpio. I'll just redraw that. And that is really a push for us to make a decision to move from what we knew in the past, South Node, to something new and different and better, North Node. So when we talk about the nodes of fate, and I've talked about these things in prior videos, it is about dredging up the past. It is about looking at what we've always been comfortable with and realizing that it has to change. It is karmic. In Scorpio, it is ruled by Pluto. We talked about how Pluto behaves in our lives here. I gave the example of, Pluto's in the 8th house in Capricorn and what that's requiring us to do. Well, this is the same energy in Scorpio with the South Node. And again, it's very interesting because there's a lot of late degree energy in the sky right now. So it is push time to change and evolve ourselves as well as society and our place in society. But back to the South Node in the late degree of Scorpio. So hopefully I'm not losing you here. If you have questions, please put them down in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer them later. But it is a lot of information to cover. So in the late degree, the South Node in the late degree of Scorpio is very much focused on coming back to ourselves, how we've nurtured ourselves, how we've taken care of our homes, our families, what we feel protective of and responsible for, what we have acted on out of emotion. And in the 6th house for Gemini rising, that is our day-to-day routines and our health, and how we take care of ourselves and other people. The 6th house is very much a working house. It's, keep things organized. I'm going to do this every single day. It's our routines. And the South Node in Scorpio is saying, you know what? Things have to change. It's no longer going to serve you or be healthy for you to take care of every single detail the way that you have at the expense of your health. Now is the time to look at your health because, in the 6th house in Scorpio, it's like we are having a 6th house in Scorpio, we are very in tune to what's going on around us. We see what's going on underneath the surface. We know when there's a call to action. We can sometimes get into a place where we feel like we have to control the outcome. And in the day-to-day, that's our regular work routines as well. So sometimes we can give of a little bit too much because we know and we sense and we see that there's a need for it, but it's not balanced. We're not serving ourselves. So this South Node in Scorpio at the very late degrees, and these will be transiting, and they transit backwards, so they'll be going into the earlier degrees. So it'll hit us at every point in our 6th house. It's first saying, okay, it's time to clean out the closet and take a look at your health. If there's something coming up, address it. Realize that your day-to-day habits can actually affect your health. Realize that it's time now to let go of some things, let go of control, allow other people to take care of and do things that we have possibly always thought, or at one time thought, that we only understood enough. It's sort of like our attitude could have been, if I want something done right, I'm going to do it myself because somebody else just doesn't understand. So whether that be true or not, it doesn't matter. We feel a pull to actually control what goes on in the day-to-day. And a lot of that is to the benefit of serving other people and forgetting about ourselves. So the South Node is saying it's time for that to go out of that area of life, and we need to move into really focusing on coming back to ourselves, coming back to our minds in Taurus, finding security and comfort and simplicity within ourselves, in the 12th house, within ourselves, within our minds, within our connection to spirit, and finding our own divinity, realizing that that is what we really need. That is really what's going to solve our day-to-day issues that over here we may have felt like only we in the day-to-day world could actually organize and fix. Now it's time to move into a place where we have surrendered that control to something higher than ourselves. And that is not easy, especially as a Gemini rising who wants to be active. Their impulse is to think and break down and create solutions for problems. Very, very hard. It takes a lot of discipline. It also takes a lot for a Gemini to say, okay, I trust that if I don't understand it logically, it's still going to be okay. That's where I need to be right now. This is an expansion of the mind and spirituality and of having and holding faith. Saturn there is saying this has to happen. There are consequences if it doesn't. If things are out of sorts, if you haven't learned everything that you need to learn, it's got to be wrapped up. So Saturn is kind of like the father of the sky. He is the father of the sky. It's like, okay, it's time. It's time. Time to let go. Time to move out of the way everything needs to look in the day-to-day. None of that matters anymore. So there's pressure there. There's a lot of pressure there. And Saturn has been at play with the nodes of fate for a while. Will continue to be at play throughout the course of the nodal transit, but really concentrated right now. Saturn does go retrograde soon. Pluto does go retrograde soon. That brings it back into ourselves and our minds a little bit more. It might even prove to be a little bit more difficult. I think Pluto goes retrograde at the end of May. It's more internal transformation. So 6th house, 12th house, the nodes. Saturn is pushing us to simplify our lives and take care of our health. We've got Pluto over here saying it's time to change. Look at your shared resources, your intimate relationships. Deal and dredge up with any issues that are holding you back from evolving into who you are supposed to be. Less complex. That means talking about things that you may not want to talk about. Dealing with things that you're afraid of. That's going deep, deep, deep back into our history and trying to figure out why, if we have fears or we're hiding things that we're ashamed of in that area of life, why it's there, and unpacking it all. So difficult combinations of energies. All right, so back to the energy in Pisces. And, all of this energy here, when everything sits at the top of your chart, it's very, very public. We start to go down into the 12th house. That's where we get really private. Of course, down at the lower part of your chart, It's very, very private. It's like it's in your personal world. Most of the energies, as you can see, for Gemini rising are happening in their outer life. So there is a lot of outer action, outer stimulation, which means there are a lot of things coming towards Gemini rising that are asking for responsibility and resolution and change. So very difficult. But remember that, especially, having a lot of this energy here in the 12th house through this nodal process, that coming back to ourselves, calming our minds and trying to feel our way through things and really pay attention, can give us a little bit of, well, it's stressful, so it's in our mind, but we can process it there. A lot of things where that's concerned and how you'll actually cope with all of that will depend on points in your chart where things are actually specifically hitting, and of course what is going on in your life. All right, back to the Pisces energy here that is at the top of the chart. And Pisces can be ruled by Neptune, can be a very beautiful energy. It's very ethereal. It is, it's something that's not quite of this world, but at the same time, it can cause confusion and delusion, and we can experience deceit from other people. We can feel like, especially with all the pressures to reconcile things in our lives, we can actually feel like we need to sort of tweak things or move around things instead of hitting things straight on and understanding things straight on. This Pisces energy that has moved into our 10th house of career has put Gemini rising into a place where they possibly could have decided that what they have done and known all of their life no longer fills their soul. It's not something that is coming from their heart. And so a lot of change in the career sector, they may have felt empty in their job, and they're moving towards something that fills their soul and connects them to something that they can have faith in, something that will allow them to participate in healing the collective unconscious. So it's altruism, and it's giving and receiving compassion and love in a way different way. And if you were in a lifelong career, for instance, where it was much more structured, in the traditional sense, this, although having faith, to follow your passion, knowing it's the right thing, with all of these real world constraints, can be confusing, and it can be a bit stressful. This energy in Pisces is asking you to have faith, follow your spiritual path. It's like walking with the blindfold on. This is a test. Is this really what you want to do? The universe is asking us all to be more compassionate, to get in touch with whatever our spirituality is and what that means to us, and then to spread it out and share it in the world. But at the same time, because of the confusion and because of where different people are on their journey and maybe not fully understanding how to express certain energies, there is a lot of things that can come at you that you may not be able to see clearly. It's like there could be religious groups that are fanatical, a lot of spiritual careers out there. People are picking these things up, which is fantastic. They're learning these things. They're wanting to put it out there and help people. But we, as the receivers, of course, the givers back of that, we're responsible for what we take in. And Neptune and Pisces dissolves the boundaries. So it comes at us, and it's really important for us to fall back on our practical skills. And in Taurus, that is a really good thing. We need to be discerning and have faith that what we're feeling and sensing for ourselves all along, and where the path that we've taken, that the steps that we take right now are serving what our desires have been and where we've been trying to move towards. So, during this time where all of this energy is in Pisces in our 10th house, we may feel like, gee, did I make the right decisions? Am I in the right job? It might feel like things are moving slowly, or that you can't get a definitive take or any kind of clarity in the tangible world of where you should be. And you may begin to start to lose faith or wonder when things are going to pick up. And that is a tough place to be. Venus is in the midway. Venus is midway through the Pisces energy, and so she is really looking to find her place, her home in her career, in her commitments. She is looking for protection and nurturing. And Neptune and Jupiter, they're together, are finishing their transit in Pisces, and they are also in the late degrees, as you can see. And that is saying, pay attention. What are you being told deep down inside? What can you feel that is pushing at you? What do you truly know? This is really paying attention and being mindful and understanding of the fact that what you see in the physical may not be what's going on underneath. It's a time to have faith. We can also get into a place where there's a lot of fear in this stage of Pisces, which might make us feel like we want to escape from it. Very, very important to be careful that we are not using things to escape reality or the sadness or the unknown that we might be feeling by using any kind of substance. This is going down into the depths and really, really feeling very deeply this area of our life. And when it's talking about our careers and how we're seen out there in the world, it's part of our identity. It's like, who am I? I'm just kind of floundering around, and I know what my heart and my soul wants, but I can't seem to make anything of it. So Venus coming into a conjunction with Neptune, they'll all be in the same degree. But I do feel like holding faith and paying attention to how we feel and to what our soul is calling us to do is going to help us as we try and unpack and simplify our lives and figure out how we can do that with our resources and with the things that we owe and the people that we are working with, and that faith does give us an opportunity, especially with Jupiter there, to actually receive some kind of divine deliverance or assistance, whether that be support through an ending of sorts, support through confusion, support through sadness or depression, through the loss of something. That is there, and the lesson here is to hold on to faith. We have Mars that has moved into Pisces, and this stage of Mars is our vitality, taking action. It's what we're passionate about. It's going for what we want in the 10th house of career. But this is very much sensing and feeling. This is a very much just sort of trying to figure out what direction to go. But it is definitely a spiritual call. So it's a good time right now to actually, maybe do some spiritual study, go on a spiritual retreat, spiritual therapy in terms of water, which might help, lighten up, or at least, help us feel a little better or cleaner. It's like a cleansing of sorts in our body as we deal with, the heavier Pisces energy that is, pushing and pushing to move things forward, and, kind of, swishing us around in the water a little bit. It's not probably the greatest time to make any hard decisions in terms of your career, but whatever you have been working on, like I said, for a while, keep moving forward, keep feeling your way through. But may not be a good time to actually sign contracts or spend a lot of money. Just keep moving forward, steady. And I think when Mars and Venus move into the 11th house for us, which is getting us out there in the community, connecting us with people, allowing us to take action, to actually sort of rally in or connect with people that will help bring us closer to our hopes and dreams. When those move into Aries, which is going to be at the end of this month, we're going to feel like we want to take action. Things will be clear. We might have to hold ourselves back a little bit because we want to move too quickly. Pay attention to who comes around you at that time. You could have, very active people coming towards you that are helping, that are willing to help lead you, of course, discerning, or that you can lead together. You can rally together. Aries takes action. I think that there will be a let up of the sluggish, sort of unknown, where am I going in my career? How are people seeing me? Worrying about those things. Where am I going to land? I think that Mars and Venus going into Aries at the end of April is going to be very, very helpful in getting us out there and giving us the courage to actually fight for what we want. So that's what's going on for Gemini rising in the month of May for Taurus season. There is a lot going on. I'm right there with you, Gemini rising. I am a Gemini rising. So it's been tough, having all of our stuff out there coming at us for us to deal with. We can't kind of put it under the rug these days. So it's all about reality and moving forward and where we want to go and what we want to evolve into. And of course, what is our destined path? Fate is at play, and believe it or not, we've been walking through that maze or down that road our entire lives, and we're getting pushed a little further. So at the end of the road, it should be great. So like they say, follow the yellow brick road, right? Somebody once said that to me. It was a message that came through in a very interesting way, and it was significant. Of course, we've heard it from the Wizard of Oz, but this is a different scenario, and it just came, and it was very relatable to what was going on at the time, and I'll never forget that. And this makes me think of that. So we have some lunar events coming up that are going to double down on these energies. On April 30th, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Taurus, which is all about planting the seeds for new beginnings. But an eclipse is interesting because that can roll back to things that we started a while ago. New moon solar eclipse is the beginning of things that are going to unfold over a much longer period of time. And then we have a lunar eclipse on May 15th in the sign of Scorpio. Very significant, evolutionary, and potentially intense lunar eclipse that I'll be going over. So please stay tuned. If you haven't, again, subscribe. Please subscribe, like, and share. I would be very, very grateful. Thank you so much for being here. If you'd like a personal reading, please reach out to me on my website at jovesstar.com, JOVESSTAR.com. And I will talk to you soon. I plan on doing a video here about the weekly energies. I'm going to start doing that. I've still got my adoption story that I want to start talking about, how that relates to astrology. There are still, basic astrology concepts I want to keep doing videos about. We have all of these interesting energies in check here that I want to talk about during the month, and finishing up the rest of the horoscopes. And I'm still really hoping and trying to work on something that shows the positive side of this Neptune and Pisces energy and all of the conjunctions, and what I really think is going to be positive about this time. And the focus here, and I didn't say that, it's like focus on something creative. That, in addition to having faith, creative endeavors, definitely good to have on the agenda right now. So yeah, I'll be throwing out a lot of those things here in the near future, and I will see you for sure for your, that'll be Gemini, our birthday season horoscope reading next month. And in the meantime, may the stars forever be in your favor. Take good care, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.